This week, I'll lead you through a gentle practice for hip mobility and for stretching out some tensions around the hips, the pelvic area. Let's get started. You could go through this practice without any props. However, if you have a bolster, if you like to use a bolster in your practice, then bring your bolster or some kind of a pillow, some kind of a rolled up blanket into your practice. That might be a nice addition for today's practice for the hips. And then we are going to start from lying down on the belly. And I have two options here. You could either just come lie down on your belly onto the mat, or if you have a bolster or some kind of a cushion, then bring it under your hips, under the pelvis, so that when you come lie down on the belly, you have it either under the hip crease, or it could be under kind of the tops of the thighs, or it could be even under the lower belly, depending on what feels safe and comfortable for your hips, for your back. What this support, this gentle pressure under the pelvis and the front of the hips can do is it can almost give a gentle massage for that front side of the pelvis, the hip flexor area coming to the lower belly, the tops of the thighs. And it might give a gentle back bend, or it might also give a gentle rounding in the lower back if you have it under the belly. We're trying to invite our awareness to that pelvic area already here. The chest can lean down to the mat. You might bring hands under the head, or you might turn one cheek onto the mat. So arms can be as high up or as low down as you feel is good for your shoulders, your upper back. And we'll take another 5 to 10 breaths here. If you feel you need to adjust your legs, they might be wider apart, they might be closer together, and that even just a small adjustment in the legs might affect how you feel in the hips, in the pelvic area. Send a few more breaths towards the lower belly, the lower back. Send your breaths all the way down towards the pelvic floor. Now let's take another breath here, in and out. And then leaving our awareness, attention to that pelvic hip area. Start to bring yourself onto all fours. So you might need to adjust your hands so you can press down onto the floor and lift yourself onto hands and knees. And then we're going to round the back into child's pose. You might use a bolster here if you want, or you might push your bolster aside and just lean your pelvis down towards the feet. And give yourself a moment, if needed, to adjust the legs. You might have your knees wide apart. That might give a different sensation in the back, again in the hips. It might give you more room to move. But you might also have your legs close together. It's really up to you. Where do you feel again safe and rather comfortable? Head could lean all the way down on the mat. Or you can bring hands under the head. Keeping our attention down in that pelvic area, and now with our breaths,
trying to create some space at the back side of the pelvis, the lower back, and those connections between the pelvis and the back. With your exhalations, see if you could just soften a bit more through the front of the hips as well, at the front of the thighs. As if you're giving your pelvis permission to become heavier. Take another breath or two in and out here. And then we'll slowly find our way back onto hands and knees. And then we're going to go into a low lunge. So now step your right foot forward. You can bring it all the way close to your hands. And if you want, you could keep your hands or fingertips on the mat. Or if you have a bolster there, you might also bring the bolster kind of behind that right ankle and foot and then lean your hands onto the bolster. It might give you just a bit more space to move. We start to circle the pelvis. So now, gentle movement in the hips. Don't need to be a big movement, just trying to invite both hip joints to gently move and circle. You could change the direction. And again, feel free to play with where you have your hands. Is it better to have them further forward next to the foot or a bit further back? Do you want to use the bolster or not? Find your way of creating some movement for the hips, keeping neck and shoulders soft. And then from those circles, we're going to now inhale, lean the pelvis just a bit further back so we could extend the front leg a bit. You might have a bolster there or not. And the next exhalation, lean the pelvis forward. We're going to move the bolster aside for this. And again, as you inhale, lean the pelvis back so you're extending more through the front leg, trying to get a bit more opening through the back of the leg. And then as you exhale, lean the pelvis a bit more forward, kind of checking into that front of the left leg. Couple more times. We're going to inhale, send the pelvis back. Maybe that right knee still stays bent. We don't need to extend it. As you exhale, lean the pelvis forward. And then from here, we're going to bring hands on the mat so that we could start to walk the right foot towards the left side of the mat and find a pigeon pose. Now in this pigeon, you could have a bolster under the right hip, under the right thigh. Give yourself some time to adjust where your legs are and find a safe angle for that right knee. For some of us, the foot might be higher up or the foot might be lower down, close to that left hip. And you might stay here in an upright, proud pigeon. Or if you want, as you breathe out, you'd start to lean forward, maybe come down onto elbows. Looking for a bit of opening around the right buttock, the right thigh. And it might be nice to move here. You might rock from side to side. Keep sending your breaths down towards the hips. Release shoulders and neck as much as possible. And take a couple more breaths in and out. You might lean your head all the way down to the mat if that feels good for you. And with your next few breaths, when you feel ready, you'll be okay letting go of this pigeon. Find your hands onto the mat. If you have any props there under the pelvis, you might need to slide them aside, and then we're going to step onto hands and knees. And if you feel like you want to extend the legs, you could lift into downward dog. So feel free to lift the pelvis up, or you might go into child's pose at this point as well. Or maybe doing some cat-cows on all fours. This is just an in-between. What do you feel that your hips, what your legs, your pelvis needs? A little moment of yogi's choice. And then with your next few breaths, bring yourself back onto all fours if you're in child's pose or in downward dog. And we're going to go into that low lunge on the other side. So now step your left foot forward. And again, if you like having some support under the hands, you could bring a bolster there under the hands, and we'll start to circle the pelvis, circle the hips. So you might visualize those hip joints as separate entities and just trying to find some circling movement in both of the hip joints. Or maybe we are visualizing the whole pelvis in those circles. So we have multiple circles going on, the whole pelvis circling, and then those hip joints circling on their own. Again, could change direction, go the other way. Allow the back to follow those movements that happen lower down, so it's all connected. Everything's moving a little bit, kind of the movement resonating throughout the body. And then slowly bring yourself to center. I like to move the bolster aside at this point and just bring hands onto the mat, or maybe just fingertips on the mat. And we're going to extend the front leg. Inhale, send the pelvis back. And then exhale, lean the pelvis forward, bring the weight back onto that left foot. And again, inhale, send the pelvis back, opening at the back of that left leg, some stretching through the back of the leg. And exhale, leaning forward. Again, let your back follow the movements. Let's do one more round. Inhale, send the pelvis back. Head can lean forward. And exhale, lean the pelvis forward. So weight on that left foot. And from here, we'll start to look for that pigeon. So we'll start to walk the left foot towards the right side of the mat. See how much you need to bend the left knee. If you have props nearby, you might bring some support under the left hip or under the left buttock, left thigh. And again, you might decide to stay in that upright, proud pigeon. Maybe that's good for this side. You might lean forward, maybe onto elbows, or just walking the hands forward. Maybe you lean head all the way down, chest all the way down. See if it would be nice to move here. Kind of wiggle the pelvis a bit from side to side, or lean upper body from side to side. staying at an edge that feels safe for the hips, for the knees. And breathing all the way down towards that lower body. Breathing towards the hips. Breathing down towards the lower back. Let's take a couple more breaths here, in and out. And then we're going to bring ourselves back onto hands. If you're down on the elbows, you can move your props aside and bring yourself back onto all fours, back onto hands and knees. And this time I will suggest that we would go into some circling movement. If the wrists feel really kind of tender now, you can do this on your elbows as well. Finding circles through the hips, the whole pelvis, shoulders. We could change the direction. And we don't need to force the movement to be any bigger than what feels kind of soft and easy. Let's do a couple more. You can see how that movement resonates through the spine, all the way to the head. And then let's slowly find our way back to center. And now from all fours, we're going to come sit down and then lean on to the back. So your own way, in your own time, find yourself lying down on the back. If you want, you could swing the knees from side to side. And then we're going to bring feet on the mat if they aren't already. And you might walk your feet just a bit wider apart. So they're maybe all the way on the edges of the mat. And from here, as you exhale, lean both knees towards the right side of the mat. You might flex your ankles. I quite like it for the knees. It helps my knees to stay in a better place if I flex the ankles, but that's between you and your body. And this might be plenty enough. We might find some opening at the front of that left hip, left thigh. If you want, you might bring your right foot on top of that left thigh and just kind of gently weigh it down, not pushing down and not pushing onto the knee, staying at the thigh. Keep hands and arms soft. And there should be no pain in the knees. So if it feels uncomfortable or unsafe for your knees, try adjusting where your feet are. Sometimes just a small step one way or the other can help, or take that extra weight off the left leg. And breathing here in and out, couple more breaths. To really let that left thigh rotate inwards. The left buttock can happily come off the mat. And then slowly, first we release the right foot down and then bring both legs back to center. Before we go to the other side, lift your legs up into the air. And just gently, gently shake the legs, keeping pelvis heavy on the mat, keeping the thigh bones sinking into their sockets and just kind of shaking the legs. allowing some gentle vibrations from the feet through the ankles to the calves, all the way down to the thighs, down to the hips. And then slowly we're going to bring the feet back down. And again, you might walk your feet a bit wider apart. And then we're going to slowly bring both knees towards the left. And again, I like to flex my ankles, but you can play with if that works for you. And if you want, you can now bring the left foot, left ankle onto the right thigh. Again, you can let the the right buttock roll high up off the mat. It might be that we feel something along the whole right side body. Maybe it's for the thigh, the hip flexor line. We can let that right thigh rotate inwards. And just breathe. Send your breaths all the way down towards the pelvis. Send your breaths all the way down to those areas where you feel the pose most. And take another breath in and out. And then slowly release the left foot down. Bring your legs back to center. And then bring your knees towards the armpits. We'll go into happy baby pose. So you could either reach hands to the back of the thighs, or you could reach for your ankles or feet. And if it feels good here, kind of in a reclining butterfly, just holding onto the feet, stay here. Or you can go for the full happy baby, lifting feet up into the air. And then you could start to play with the legs, play with that happy baby. Maybe you're rocking from side to side, bending, straightening the legs. Back of the pelvis can happily come off the mat here. Give yourself a few more breaths in and out. Keeping neck, keeping shoulders soft. Might give some gentle pressure for the soles of the feet, like a massage for the feet. And then slowly start to release the feet down. Bring feet all the way down on the mat. Extend your legs, reach arms overhead along the floor, and then actively stretch your whole body long from hands down to feet. Breathe in and out. Now hold on to your right wrist with the left hand. We go into side bend, so slide your feet towards the left side of the mat. You might cross your ankles, keeping both buttocks close to the mat. And then inhale, exhale, gently slide your shoulders, your arms towards the left side of the mat as well. So we find our banana pose, our side bending half moon, whichever name you want to use for the side bend. Creating an opening along the right side body. Again, this can be great for the hip flexor line. You could inhale down towards the right hip, down towards the right thigh. Exhalation, slide back up towards the right shoulder and towards the head. Take another breath or two in and out here. And then exhale, start to release the pose. You can slide your feet, your upper body, your arms back to center. And we'll go to the other side. So let's now take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Slide feet towards the right side of the mat, or the kind of that right bottom corner of the mat. Again, you might cross ankles one way or the other. And then inhale, exhale, just gently slide or even gently pull your upper body towards the right side of the mat. So we are back in that banana shape. Or maybe you are a crescent moon today, half moon. Breathing here in and out. Again, inhaling all the way down towards the pelvis. Exhalation, sliding back up towards the shoulders, towards the head. Heavy pelvis, grounding down. Feel that left hip dropping down heavy. Take another breath here, in and out. And then slowly start to release that side bend. Come back to center, release the arms down. And then I'm suggesting a resting pose in the pyramid pose. So bending the knees, walking feet out to the sides of the mat, and then leaning knees and thighs against each other. Hands could be down on the belly, or release the arms out to the sides. You could close your eyes if you want. You could rock your head from side to side. And then invite your awareness inwards, back to your breath. With each breath out, invite some softness, ease and release to your hips, to the whole pelvic area. Allow yourself to let go of tension that you don't need right now. And give yourself at least another 5 to 10 breaths in this resting pose. After your 5 to 10 breaths, just start to slowly bring some gentle movement to your hands, your feet. Or if you feel like you want to stay longer in your resting pose, just stay there. Take as long as you want. You might swing your knees from side to side. You can stretch your legs and arms out, whatever you need to wake up your body from this resting pose. And then in your own time, just slowly roll down onto one side and bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat, where you could give yourself a few breaths in and out. And if it's a part of your practice, you could bring palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking some time to move, to breathe, to check in with your body today. And I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing this time and practice. Namaste. Thank you.